Hey YouTube, what's going on? This is your Comic Center and it's winter time. And how can you tell that? I'm using my soft boxes again. And I just have to say that because I'm so annoyed by them showing up in the reflection of my glass doors. But winter time is here and there's no more daylight for me to at least be able to have time to film this while it's light outside, if there's any at all. So we're gonna have to do this like this, and I'm gonna show you my new books that I picked up from Instocktrades.com, but also from other websites like a Swedish website called Bokus, and also I think Book Depository, and even Amazon.com. So I had to stretch myself to lots of different places just to get a hold of all of these books, but still keeping it in the spirit of Instocktrades graphic novel haul videos. But yeah, as we all know, it's a bit more harder to get a hold of some books just because the distribution centers weren't aware of the pandemic and anything, of course, and therefore a 6 months delay on back ordering all of the books. So that has made it difficult to get a hold of all of these books, I have to say, but they are here now and I'm 100% happy with all of them. And now 2 minutes into the video, let's start with what I actually picked up. Okay, so I'm gonna try to take this a little more sporadic now and just don't go all the DC books, then all the Marvel, and then all the independent stuff. I'm gonna try to mix it up a bit so you can't guess what comes next. But first off is a DC book, of course. It usually starts with that. And it's Mr. Miracle by Tom King and drawn by Mitch Gerards. Already effed up this. Okay, but this is a book that I've actually read amongst the books that I picked up in this haul, and it was great, awesome. And what really made me to pick up this book was because of Tom King's work on the Vision in Marvel, and that is one of my favorite books now, just because of all the things that it takes up, basically. And when I bought Mr. Miracle, I was trying not to overhype it for myself so I wouldn't be disappointed in it, and I was not. I surely was not disappointed reading this, and I told all my closest comic friends about it and tried to get their iteration of the story. And yeah, this is one that can be discussed, absolutely, and talked about. And it's just a good book by Tom King. So I could highly recommend you picking this up if you liked The Vision. And that's the first book. Okay, as I said, try to mix this up. So I'm not gonna show another DC book for a while. So instead, I'm gonna show you a book that I've been waiting years and years for now, and I don't think I'm the only one. And that is the Image title called East of West. This is written by Jonathan Hickman. He has made an amazing Marvel Avengers run, collected now within 2 omnibus. Don't know how easy those are to get a hold of nowadays. I don't think it's easy, actually. But Jonathan Hickman, what else has he written? In Manhattan Project, another Image title that sadly hasn't been collected within hardcovers, all of the stories yet, at least only 2 volumes within hardcover, and I tried to keep it on that, just as I've been trying to keep East of West in hardcover collection only, and now it's finally here. And this is the thickest of them all, I believe, and I think it collects amongst 15 to 16 issues maybe, and that's pretty thick for a Image hardcover because they usually stand between maybe 10 to 12 issues per volume. But said this is the very final volume, and I cannot wait to reread the story and finally get an end to this. Okay, let me show you one DC book now, just to get it out of the system for a while more. And this is an omnibus that I traded up from thick paperbacks. Actually, I would have been fine keeping the paperbacks, but that was just because I never believed that they would ever actually go ahead and print these omnibus. And that is the Batman Road to No Man's Land omnibus. I never would have thought that it actually would go ahead and do this, but they collected 3 of those thick paperbacks within one volume. That is Cataclysm, Road to No Man's Land, volumes 1 and 2, all collected here within this omnibus. And hopefully we'll get 1 or 2 more volumes to collect the very source series that is No Man's Land, or the running up of volumes of this, so that we can get a complete set on this, just like we have the Nightfall omnibus. So it's gonna be nice to reread this in an oversized format. Okay, and next we're gonna try something with an independent title. This is from Boom Studios, and there are very few titles that I actually pick up from Boom. I think it's only this one actually, now when I think about it. But these volumes has been great up so far, and yeah, I don't know really what I should say about this. This book is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, damn it, Beyond the Grid Deluxe Edition. And as you can see on the front page, we have the Pink Ranger, which is the pretty much main antagonist for this volume, but we also have a new writer, which is Margaret Bennett on this title, and it's not as good as the first 3 volumes, as of they keep up this epic storyline revolving around the Green Ranger and everything, and Drakon. This is kind of the whole volume, because I read this, it felt more like a very long epilogue before our next great big event. Not to say that the artwork wasn't good, but I think to appreciate this volume you should be more into the Power Rangers series overall, and have followed several of the different series that were out there within the live action universe, because that's where they get most of inspiration, I would suppose. And we have a team here that is kind of mixed up from one member from each of those different eras of Power Rangers. So it's a very mixed bag, but I think you would follow this better if you're more into and well knowledge in the Power Rangers universe, because it felt a little like a struggle for me to read this, and reading comic books should not be a struggle, it should be a joy. But nonetheless, I'm very much looking forward for the next volume, because the cliffhanger within this book made me excited for it. Okay, so another independent titles. I'm doing great, not showing DC titles now. So this is from IDW, and from IDW I only follow 2 titles right now, and the latest to actually come out with a book of those 2 titles is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 11. And yeah, Casey Jones on the cover this time, and I don't remember which one we're gonna see on Volume 12, but they are actually very good at pumping these out right now. It feels like we get at least 2 or 3 volumes a year, and that's a good pace to get through these, at least when you get a volume that actually collects a lot of issues from the main series, because they also involve all of the miniseries and one-shots within these books, and that's why they actually can pump out all of these volumes in such a Teenage Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Universe issues 16 to 19 and 21 to 23. So there's a 2-issue gap there for some reason. And then the ongoing series issue number 76 to 84. And that's a great chunk of main issue content, which I would love to read, because some volumes has only kept maybe sometimes 3 or 4 issues of the main series within them. That was as soon as all of these macro and miniseries and one-shots got out. But yeah, we're getting back on track with this volumes, it feels like. Okay, I can't hold back now. I have to show you one of the other DC books that I picked up. This one is one that actually has been in my collection for a time now, you could say. Because this is a reprint, but also a expansion of the series itself, which is the DC Rebirth Super Sons Omnibus Expanded Edition. And this collects, I think, 12 more issues of a maxi series that was published after the first collected volume that came out of Super Sons. And Super Sons, I think, sold out great. And that is why they keep on with an expanded edition. And yeah, just following Jonathan Kent and Damian Wayne in these adventures is awesome. You can actually jump into this as a new reader. I believe you would appreciate it. All you have to know is that Batman has a son and Superman has a son, and they team up together in these adventures. That's pretty much all you need to know. If you can take it like that, you would actually enjoy these series. So yeah, I upgraded to Super Sons, the expanded edition. Next up, I have a few more indie titles to show you, and these are based from one of my very favorite series out there, and one that I think many in the recent month has started to appreciate, it feels like, and that is the Avatar: The Last Airbender series. These are the library editions collected by Dark Horse, and just this title is The Lost Adventures by Team Avatar Tales. And yeah, I used to have this in a trade paperback format. It was a almost pocket-sized book, and I sold it because I felt that I didn't appreciate the stories when they were collected in such a small format, because you can really get out of the detail in the artwork, and it just feels like the company itself doesn't appreciate it unless they print it in this sort of oversized format. So these library editions are bigger than a Marvel oversized hardcore cover or a DC deluxe edition, and now it really feels like the creators appreciate the art itself. And these stories actually picked up on several different artists, so get a little variation on how people imagine characters. But some of them are like very straight out of the animated series itself. So yeah, here's another example, a little more plain type of look. Almost looks like Peanuts. So yeah, Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Lost Adventures, and I have one more book actually related to this. And that book is, of course, if you couldn't guess, the Legend of Korra series. This is the Ruins of the Empire. And I have not read this, but I have read the previous volume, Turf Wars, which I was not too impressed by actually. But since rereading the Last Airbender library editions all in one go, I really started to appreciate more of those stories. I do really believe that I will appreciate these volumes more, reading them together to get a bigger scope of what we're gonna do with Korra's character post her animated series. Because just like the Avatar: The Last Airbender volumes takes place post Avatar: The Last Airbender series, the same goes for Legend of Korra, so they expand on the universe itself. So when it comes to The Last Airbender, it's more of a bridging between the two series, and Legend of Korra really can't do anything that it wants until they maybe announce yet another series. One can only hope, because you really can't get enough out of this series, not from me at least. And then second to last of the books that I'm going to show you this time, it is yet another omnibus, and it is my only Marvel book for this time, and that is the SpiderMan Ben Reilly Omnibus Volume 2. And I had luck getting a hold of this because I tried to order this from, I believe, 3 different places to get a hold of it. One of the places I ordered 2 times and got rejected. So eventually the place that I got this from was Amazon, which I did not expect to arrive in this shape that it actually came in. We have a small bump on the side of the book, but that is something that I truly can live with, because I'm eventually gonna move and probably half of these books are gonna get damaged somehow. And yeah, but no, really, I do appreciate the shape that it came in, and I'm just happy overall to have this book, because as I said, the printing has not been easy for people to get a hold of books, and I truly understand that. But yeah, I'm safe, okay? Not to step on any more feet out there, but very last book that I picked up for this time, one that I've been waiting for years now, ever since Jeff Johns made his cliffhanger within the Darkseid War saga. Been waiting and waiting for them to release the Batman Free Jokers. And this is a just standard hardcover edition that was released 1 month after the very last issue of the series was released. So they really went fast on this to get this out there. They should really do that more often, because I have tried to avoid spoilers like you have no idea. I think half of the shows that I follow on YouTube I had to mute just because they take up this subject. And believe me, I have read this before posting this video, but you should not spoil this for anyone, I believe, whether you like this or not. And yeah, Batman Free Jokers, I've been waiting and waiting, and it's not just that I loved, maybe it's a strong word, but I liked Doomsday Clock by Jeff Johns and Gary Frank, and now we have Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok. That's how I pronounce his name, at least. And I really enjoyed Jason's artwork from the Darkseid War saga, and here it continues once again within Free Jokers. But how this takes place in... I'll have to read this just to know how this takes place between Doomsday Clock and Darkseid War saga and everything that Jeff Johns originally mapped out, but then wasn't able to get everything out as fast as he wanted it, probably. Yeah. If you can't tell, I'm looking very much forward to read this as soon as I'm done filming this video. So that is it. That has been my whole video for this time. I hope you liked it, hope you enjoyed. And remember, don't pay for over cover price unless you are 100% certain that you will want to read that story in this book that is come out, and do not jump on the hype train. So I know I made that joke on the Ben Reilly omnibus. Believe me, nobody believed that for 5 years ago that a Clone Saga or Ben Reilly omnibus would ever sell good from Marvel. And with that, thanks so much for watching. See you in another video. Bye bye.